So first off then, do you just want to take a minute to briefly introduce who you are as an influencer?
Yeah, so my name is Michael Adeniran. I am known as the Urban Challenger across all platforms. I predominantly run triathlon, obstacle course racing, any kind of adventure sport thing that gets your heart racing. And it's mostly about getting people that don't typically do stuff like that into it, and making sure that they understand that I am a normal dude, that I have a job, I have a family, but I just push myself and make sure that I can, achieve a little bit more each day.
Yeah, so inspiring people like yourself to do more and challenge themselves, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. Just because I think people think you have to be super special to do a lot of things, when ultimately anyone can do it. You just got to give it a go. So yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. So what is your niche then as an influencer? I'm going to say fitness type vibes.
Yeah, fitness type vibes.
Yeah.
Covers it pretty well. It's running, I guess, is the biggest sub niche. But yeah, fitness, adventure.
Yeah, cool.
That is a niche.
So how long have you been running and doing all your active lifestyle type activities for now then, would you say?
I've always been active, but I'd say I guess from an Instagram point of view, I'd say 2015 was probably the starting point.
Okay, so quite a while then now.
Ages.
Yeah, I bet it did you quite well in lockdown as well, because you could go out and have your hours of exercise, couldn't you? So
yeah, it was a good chance for me to just explore the area. Really.
Yeah,
I think that's when I started doing loads of the graffiti stuff and just running around and seeing what new is out in the areas that I've always typically lived in but never explored.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great for that.
What kind of got you into it then? What inspired you to start doing all of it?
Just running as the whole thing.
Everything.
Everything. So I think I've always been quite active anyway. Running was really, I went for an obstacle course race.
Okay.
And I got invited to that by my wife now, my now wife, and I absolutely loved it. It was only 5K, but I was gassed at the end. I was like, oh, this has really done me in. So I really wanted to get better at the running part of it. Typically, I've always done the strength training side.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's start working on the running, and from there I just started increasing the distance until I got to silly distances. So yeah.
What's your longest distance so far?
I think it's around 38 miles.
Wow. Yeah, I run some 5Ks and go to the gym, so I know how good the feeling is from it, but 38 miles is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of lose the good feeling after 38 miles.
That is very true, yeah.
Thankfully. So,
the pain takes over.
That's it.
So what platforms are you active on, and which is your favourite and why out of all of the social media sort of spaces?
So Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
Because I like to talk rubbish on TikTok. Instagram, TikTok. I don't use Twitter. I still have a blog. So that's how I actually started.
Oh, okay.
I would say my favorite is Instagram. But I think that's because I connect with loads more people on there, and it's helped me meet loads of people. And I think that's where a lot of the influencery stuff I do has come from.
There's a bit of everything on Instagram, isn't there?
100%. And it's the one that you try not to find yourself scrolling too much on, but there's a lot going on. But you do. Yeah.
So you have TikTok. Are you quite active on there as well, or?
Not as much as Instagram. Instagram is generally daily. I just post because I got enough content for years. But TikTok, I am on there quite a bit. I just find it quite fun.
Yes,
And it's quite different to my Instagram, where I think Instagram's quite a polished thing for everyone generally.
Yeah, definitely.
And my TikTok is generally takes me back to my Snapchat days where I just talk rubbish to the camera.
Yes,
That's how TikTok is for me.
And you still write on the blog to this day, do you?
Yeah. So I just released a post today. So yeah, it's just about not as regularly as I used to, but definitely when I get a few ideas and I just jot them down and throw them on the blog.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to balance all of the platforms, haven't you? So you've got less time for each one. Have you ever considered YouTube?
I have considered YouTube, but why have I not done it?
It's very time consuming, isn't it? Editing videos that are quite long.
Long form content is just a bit long. It's very long. So like the editing process and all of that, I just haven't dedicated time to it. If I wanted to, I could. I know that much.
Yeah.
But
maybe one day.
One day. One day.
So how long have you been an influencer for? We said since 2015, didn't we, for that one?
Yeah. I'd say 2015 is when I really started running. So I'd say probably 2016 is when I started getting, I guess, approached by brands.
Yeah. So about 7 years-ish then.
Yeah. Jeez.
Did your followers grow quite suddenly, or have you sort of gradually built it up? Or did you have one post that went really viral that kicked off your sort of career, or?
It was my, the thing that made me grow initially was the Spartan race stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was all my stuff was like about obstacle course racing. So I got loads of followers from overseas because Spartan race was really American based.
Yeah.
And I would see, if I looked at my statistics, it was all like, all your followers are in America.
Oh, okay,
That's where all the Spartan races was from. And then it started picking up all the UK Spartan races as well. So I'd say it was quite a gradual rise. And I guess now it's kind of less just the obstacle course racing and more running centric.
Yeah.
So you see the followers come up, and it's pretty gradual, I'd say.
I bet you've got quite a few followers that have been there from the start, like from the very start when you first sort of started social media and are still following you.
Yeah. I talk to them quite often. So I think some of the grassroots followers that I've met in real life that I know quite well now, and we all get along, and there's quite a few of those which they're really good to talk to, because I guess they show you that there are some people that have been in it since the beginning. Yeah,
definitely. Loyal fans.
Really, that's it. It's really good to see. So there are a few of those.
Did you meet them after you became an influencer then, through like Instagram or stuff?
Yeah, I think a lot of people I met at Spartan races.
Okay.
Because, you
already into it.
Around it. Yeah, and they're just like, Michael Urban Challenge. No one really knew my name at start because I didn't put my name on there. It was just
okay.
Urban Challenger.
You are your username.
And then you meet them and you're like, my name's Michael, so nice to meet you.
Oh, cool.
I met loads of people just at races as well in general. You meet loads of people.
Suppose as well, social media connects you to other like-minded people, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like you're more likely to find like-minded people online, unfortunately, than in real life, because we're all so busy with work and stuff, whereas online, where you can just connect with people you'd probably never actually come across in real life, which is cool.
100%, and I think that's the best thing about it, really. You're connecting with people that enjoy what you enjoy.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a good thing, and it can be negative in some ways, but I think mostly it's a really good thing, and it's just easy to get along with people that you're doing stuff that you both enjoy, right? So,
pros and cons, as with everything, I suppose.
As with everything.
So how did you become an influencer within your niche, in the sense of, I mean, you mostly covered this, but how did you get to the point where you sort of had enough followers to kind of think of yourself as an influencer in your mind, if that makes sense, than just think of yourself as, I have a social media account? Like, do you get what I mean? That divide between the two.
Yeah. I think it's always I guess it's always been a thing where I've tried to. I've never pushed myself as an influencer.
Okay.
I know there's influencer things I do.
Yes.
But I think it's more the fact that I've always tried to help people get on the path of doing stuff that is outside their comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And I guess the time I really found it, I'm doing influencer stuff now, is when Spartan race asked me to work with them.
Oh, okay.
And they started inviting me to a few events and stuff, and whereas I used to pay for the events, they were inviting me to a few.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
In exchange for a blog post and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is a bit of the lifestyle. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I really started to feel like an influencer.
Yeah. See, it's not like you set out to be an influencer. It kind of just happened organically, which is nice. I reckon that's the best way, really.
Yeah, 100%. Like I never set out to, attract brands or whatnot. I think it was just through the work that I was doing on a daily basis because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And especially because my background is design and animation. So things like editing and all that, I've always liked. So it just kind of fell into place quite well, I think.
Oh, cool. Is that what you do outside of obviously influencing then? Designing, is that for a living?
No, my living is not as fun as that anymore. So yeah, no, I work for a council, but So yeah, completely different to my influencer life, which is great. So it's like Batman by night, really.
Yeah, two different sides.
Two different sides. It's great.
I suppose as well the issue with turning influencing into too much of a job and sort of an income is that it could become less for fun, if that makes sense, and you could lose the love for it. So it's nice to have that balance.
100%. Yeah, everyone I know that has done that, they are, they're chasing.
Yes, that's it.
They're chasing that kind of influencer stuff. So they have to look for their next deal. They have to find a new brand to work with. They have to keep doing that stuff. And I never felt like that because I have a day job.
Yeah.
That's where I actually make my money from.
Yeah. More of a hobby.
Rent. Yeah. So as a hobby, it makes it feel like it is something I still enjoy doing. So I don't get that burnout, right? So yeah, it's great.
For sure. So in your opinion then, what is the secret to your success as an influencer so far?
Yeah, I think it is just being down to earth and just doing what I enjoy doing and kind of bringing people in the journey with me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing, that it's just being likable and, not really trying to sell everything all the time. I think, of course, there's things that I have partnerships for, but it's just being so overtly salesy, which a lot of people don't like. My background, as well as design, I was in sales for ages.
Oh, okay.
So I know how much people don't like being sold to.
Yes, irritates them, doesn't it?
Very much so. And I'm as a salesman in the past, I hated being sold.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't like it. So I guess
so you steer away from that.
Yeah, from being like, oh, here's a new something. Why you should try it. I think it's part of the process in the game that I have offers to give some people, and maybe I could benefit, which they will know because you're quite obvious about it nowadays. You have to be, right. But yeah, I think being too salesy and that being all you do is quite not the best thing.
Yeah, it's being real and relatable as well, isn't it? So people feel like you're more of a friend than just like an ad, almost.
Yeah, 100%. If there's no personality behind your ad, then people don't want to read it or listen to it, right?
Do you find it important to sort of keep it real in the sense of when you have days where maybe you don't feel motivated to run or whatever? Do you share those days as well? Because I think people enjoy, feeling less alone. Or, instead of looking to influencers and thinking they have it all figured out, they like the real side of it as well.
100%. I think for people to feel like they can get along with you or know you, they have to feel like you're kind of similar, right? And you all have days where you just don't want to do stuff. And I was like that on Saturday. I just didn't really want to go park run, which I typically always want to do. So I make it seem like I'm always on it sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to step away from that occasionally and be like, today I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
And I think people do really relate with that.
Yeah.
And you get loads more feedback when you do those kind of posts, right? Because people are just like, yeah, I was the same. I felt like this today. How did you get over it? And I think that's a big part of the story. Like, what made you get over that part that you didn't want to do it?
Yeah.
And I think that's where people really like to.
Yeah. And they'll get that motivation off you then.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
So what are your current goals as an influencer then?
So I think the main thing is to, continue kind of entertaining and just doing what I've always typically done.
Yeah.
Obviously keeping up with the latest and greatest and, whatever Instagram's doing it helps to know what they're changing and helps to know what TikTok are changing as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that way, I guess I can continue adapting my content because nobody wants to stay stagnant, right? So
yes,
it's
exactly.
making sure that I'm keeping up with changing because as we grow, we change. I think also making sure that I'm trying to. It's always great to make sure that my content is helping me progress as well.
Yeah.
Because it's great to do stuff that you love all the time, but I think occasionally you would like some feedback from it, and also making sure that I can monetize it as well.
Yes,
because
definitely.
That's something that I think people don't talk about because I guess people are quite. I don't know if they're scared of the reaction to them saying, "Listen, I do make some money from this."
Yeah.
But that's ultimately a big goal of it, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the same for most influencers as well. Like, obviously, you want to help other people and the people that follow you, but you also want to benefit because it is a lot of work still. Like social media, the time that goes into filming and editing stuff and writing captions and all that. So you still want to be getting something from all that hard work at the end of the day, which 100%. I think most people would understand, but I think there's other people that think, oh, it's an easy job, it doesn't take much time or effort, but it definitely does.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, if you gave someone the workload that you have sometimes when you do have a brief, and that includes the filming, the editing, the sound design, everything around it, and the scripts, sometimes maybe they would understand a bit more, okay, it is quite a bit of work. So
yeah, definitely.
But it's something that we can all do if we tried, really. Put it all together.
Do you have a follower goal, or do you just kind of let that happen as it happens?
I kind of let that happen.
Yeah.
I think chasing the stats is a old school thing that maybe I used to do a lot more. So looking every day, how many likes did this get? How many?
Yeah.
I think I've come away from that. I post and leave. And obviously I interact with people when they comment and stuff, and keep it quite fun. But like I don't focus on the numbers as much because I think that's just it's a slippery slope.
Yes, takes the fun out of it again.
100%. So it makes it more like work. And I already have a day job. So
absolutely. Don't need that in the evenings too.
I've got 2 kids, so that's
wow, okay, yeah. So where do you see yourself as an influencer in 5 years' time from now?
I'd say so pretty much just continuing with what I'm doing. I think obviously transformation is a part of life, and so is change. So that's a weird one because I never think that far ahead really in terms of the influencer side of things. Of course, there's goals that I have that I'd love to, smash by doing what I do. Yeah. So, I think in 5 years' time, who knows? Hopefully, maybe I'm going to be a millionaire on Channel 4 or something like that. That would be fun.
In an ideal world.
In an ideal world.
Can never dream too big.
That's it. And, I think it's just, it's just continuous work, right? And I think it's being disciplined and consistent, and that's what gets you everywhere, really.
Yeah, and I suppose as well it's quite exciting not knowing what'll happen, just thinking, where could I go in 5 years' time if I keep doing this, and then coming up with new ideas and stuff like that, instead of always planning it really sort of directly ahead.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I've always been quite a free spirit.
Yes.
So I like when things kind of happen, and I know things not happen for a reason, but it's because I put the work in before. It's delayed gratification, right?
Yes, so, exactly. Yeah,
just keep the grind going.
Cool. So what is your dream brand to work with then?
It's weird. So I've worked with some amazing brands, and I think it would probably be like, so I've recently got into triathlon. So I work with a really cool brand called Outlaw, and they've taken me on this triathlon journey. So, but I want to push that as per usual. So there's a few like big adventure race brands that they do like these massive things like all over the world, and the races span days and days, and that would be amazing. Yeah. And I think that would take a lot more research on my side to see who they are and how I can work with them. But I know they exist, so that would be pretty cool. Cool. But in terms of like brands, I'm quite open to see, like, if it's a brand that I enjoy their stuff, I'm always happy to work with them,
Yeah.
and we can come to an agreement, right? So I'm quite open to that, but yeah, it's an open question. It's a hard one to answer.
It is. I suppose that's another thing as well about influencers is only promoting products that you actually believe in and not just for, the gain you get from it.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is really important.
And it's too easy to do, I think.
So easy.
As a newer one, you kind of say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And the thing you learn as you progress is you got to say no.
Yes.
Quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, and I think people in general struggle with saying no quite a lot. So it's kind of a skill, I suppose, for influencers to develop, but it takes 100%. Practice. Yeah.
So a lot of practice.
Yeah. Are you one that, do you reach out to brands yourself then, or do you usually just let them come to you?
It's a bit of a mix, actually. So I'd say I used to reach out a lot more as I was growing, because I just wanted, it would help me grow. At that stage, I guess. But I guess I've got to that point where I've reached out to some of the brands that I really wanted to work with, and I've done work with them, which has been amazing. I haven't chased any brands recently, which is quite a nice feeling, I guess, because a lot of brands do come to me directly, which is awesome. So I'm fortunate enough for that to happen, but I know it's taking time and work to get there. So nothing happens overnight, right?
Yes, no, that is exactly true. And that's, again, part of the reward. You work hard and then a brand reaches out, and that kind of feels like that, like you said, gratification or delayed gratification from all your hard work.
100%. Unless you get like a couple of reels that just go for millions and millions and millions of views, and then
that is very true.
You can literally get following, right? And I haven't had any of those yet. I've had a couple of good reels that
it's coming. It's coming, sure.
It's coming.
Definitely. So what is your best piece of advice for those wanting to become or grow as an influencer within your niche then?
Right. So make sure that you're practicing what you preach. That's always a big thing. It's not a race, so obviously a lot of the stuff I revert to running. But you got to run your own race, right? So
yes.
You can see there's loads of people that have massive followings, and you could try and copy what they do. But ultimately, if people don't feel like you're being natural or realistic about it, they won't catch on, and they won't follow, really, right?
Yeah, that is very true.
Be yourself. Be yourself, and just enjoy what you do. I think if you continue to enjoy it and enjoy the process, then the goal will happen. Simple.
Definitely. And back to the sort of brand partnerships as well, I suppose it's not being afraid to reach out to brands when you start, because like I said, brands aren't going to reach out to you when you first start because you don't have that sort of reach and that following. So you do have to make some of the first moves to start off with, I suppose, until you get to the point where brands know who you are, they want to work with you and stuff like that.
And I think a brand they're more likely to work with you if you have a good case about why you should work together. And it's not just you saying, listen, I want this that you do.
Yeah, definitely.
What can you give to the brand that would then make them think, you know what, that's a great idea. We can work with you together.
For sure.
Yeah, it's tit for tat, and it's always give. It's not receive. You've got to give something to receive.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I've got So I've got one bonus question then to finish us off.
Okay.
Is what kind of content do you enjoy creating the most and why? So I'm talking, video content, photos, reels, anything like that. What's your favourite to actually sit down and create?
So reels now. So I enjoy the video process. But the reason I like reels is because I can make loads out of nowhere or nothing. If I hear a cool sound, or even the most random sounds, I can throw on some footage, and there you go, it's a reel done. So it's the process is quite easy. It can be time consuming if you know exactly what you want to do, but sometimes when I just hear a sound, I'm like, that would go great with this video that I filmed. Maybe it was weeks ago, so I can just throw it on and see how it works, and that's what I really enjoy right now. I think that's what's doing well.
It lets you get really creative, doesn't it, with reels? I think there's more you can do with it than say just a typical photo post, and the trends are always changing as well, so there's always new stuff to do, but you got to keep your eye out for new sounds and stuff.
100%. And I think, yeah, that's where you want to draw the line between your endless scrolling, looking
Yes.
for stuff, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, try and catch something, use it, and then get out.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you can excuse scrolling from technically working, looking for new sounds.
Then I'm going to use that excuse from now on.
Exactly. Well, that is all the questions. Thank you very much again. It's been great.
No worries. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, look forward to see how this transpires or goes,
Yeah.
or where it would go. That's the question.